lesson in disaster, what Bay Area engineers are hoping to learn by picking through the rubble in New Zealand, and why their trip may save your life. Next week, a team of Bay Area engineers will head to that quake-ravaged city. They're hoping to learn more about the buildings that survived and try to figure out why some failed. NBC Bay Area's Joe Rosado Jr. shows us how they'll bring back those lessons.
For most people, the quake-damaged buildings of Christchurch, New Zealand wouldn't seem like much of a travel destination. Then again, most people aren't looking for the same things as Loring Wiley.
We're in the business of designing buildings to be safe in earthquakes.
Next week, the engineer will lead a team of engineers from the San Francisco firm Degenkolb on a tour of Christchurch. They'll study the rubble, view the damage, and take plenty of notes.
Interesting thing about buildings is every building is pretty much unique, so it's not like you have 50 buildings all identical. They're all 50 different buildings.
The 6.3 quake holds plenty of lessons for Bay Area engineers. The fault line running through Christchurch is similar to faults cutting through the Bay Area, and there are other chilling similarities.
New Zealand is a perfect case to go and study, because they have very advanced building codes, pretty similar to ours.
Fellow engineer John Lunenberger was 7 when the Loma Prieta earthquake shook the Bay Area.
I felt my old windows in our house kind of rattle, heard them. Looking back, it's certainly something to draw from, that what we're doing is very important.
Lunenberger says both Christchurch and San Francisco have seen major quakes before. Both have many retrofitted buildings.
I want to see how retrofitted buildings did. So the ones that they knew were deficient and someone went in there and designed strengthening for.
Wiley has visited the aftermath of quakes in Armenia and Kobe, Japan.
You never know what you're going to see, so you have to have an open mind.
He says each quake has its own story, its own tragedies, and its own lessons, and hopefully a roadmap for safer construction that builds on the unfortunate past. Joe Rosado Jr., NBC Bay Area News.
The wreckage still so stunning to see. Now, the team was actually supposed to depart this week for New Zealand, but because of the ongoing search and rescue operations there, the trip was forced back to next week.